Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Man, what a what a what a crappy way to end the year or begin the year. Excuse me, begin the year. This is the beginning of 2023. We're barely, barely through. We're barely through January, and we get hit with this. Um, man, we're I mean, this is a NA, but hey, we're gonna crack it anyways. Let me just can't tell you how many times I watched the Briscoes promo and he was drinking something crazy. But it is the closest thing I got, so it is what it is. Hashtag them boys. Yes, Courtney. Absolutely. I have not watched NXT tonight, but I did. Okay, Bonkers says here was watching NXT when the news broke out about Jay Briscoe. I heard they paid respects to him live on the show, which I have to remind myself that NXT is now again a live show. It's not they used to tape it, you know. Um yeah, this is a tough one. If you guys know me and how much I talk about and love tag team wrestling, um yeah, this one's tough. When and I'm the kind of fan that never remembers specific things, dates, whatever. I know he was a 13-time tag team champion. I know he was a world champion in Ring of Honor. But as far as like dates and stuff, I can never remember. I'm not good with that. Um, but I'll tell you guys this. Um, I started watching Ring of Honor just over 10 years ago when they got their Sinclair TV deal after I think it was called HD Net. Don't quote me on that, but it was switching from one TV deal to another TV deal. And I heard about this. And I was like, hey, I've heard about Ring of Honor. Now they got a TV deal. I'll check it out. And one of the first things that I absolutely loved about the brand in it's got to be about 2012, 2011, 2012. Like I said, it gets a little fuzzy. Uh, you watch so much. I absolutely fell in love with the tag team wrestling on Ring of Honor television. And the favorite my favorite feud back then watching them was when they were wrestling Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, and they called them what, the world's greatest tag team, or it was something like that. It was some reference to what they were called in WWE. But that was one of my favorite feuds, watching the Briscos and Haas and Benjamin. And it got crazy. They showed some of these matches on TV. Oh man, it was sick. There was like a hardcore one, and someone got it was like someone got beamed in the balls with a crutch or something. It was ridiculous. It was one of the like most hardcore things I've seen on TV in a while. Um, but man, I can't even what this is doing to Mark right now. I'm not even going to begin to fathom that. Um, but then going from that to so many different great rivalries over the years to then getting the chance to be Ring of Honor world champion. And I wish, I think I kind of faded away as a Ring of Honor fan for a little bit. And sadly, it was during Jay's run because I think part of the time he was injured. So I kind of went away from it a little bit. I just one thing I specifically remember about Jay when he was champ, and I think he was champ for the second or third time. Like I said, it gets fuzzy, but he had some kind of like dislocated arm or shoulder or something, and he was sitting on his farm, pissed off, cussing, drinking like wild turkey straight out of the bottle and screaming into the camera. And it was, oh, I was, it was, oh, just, if you guys saw this promo on TV, you know what I'm talking about. It just, man, man, oh man. When these guys talked, and I can't just talk about Jay, I have to talk about Mark at the same time because you very rarely saw one without the other. They were inseparable. When when I'd get notifications within the last year, um, like when I liked the Briscoe Facebook page, and I get notifications when they go live or when they put up a promo, and they'd be sitting in their barn throwing hay around, and they turn around and get right at the camera's face, and man, whenever they got done doing what they were doing and turned around and looked into the camera, you knew you were going to hear some shit. You were, you were, you better, whatever you were doing, you better finish at the same time they finished because they were going to educate you on whatever was going on and whatever they were facing next, whatever team, whatever rivalry was happening, where they were going, where they were landing, everything. Um, Mayor here says January 25th, Jay would have celebrated his 39th birthday. He's 38 years old, 10 years younger than me, which means like 20 plus years ago, and he was just starting in the industry. And I remember it was within the last couple of years. Me and the TNI guys, we were reviewing all the NWA TNA Asylum um, episodes from Tennessee. And very early, there was a brief mention. They had a match or two, one on TV, one off TV, whatever. Excuse me. Um, and they were, oh my God, they were so young. They were like they looked like you were still in high school, you know, being on TV and wrestling, and you know, you couldn't even tell them apart back then, you know, with the reds with the red bodysuits or whatever they had on. Wild, just wild. And then come was it last year? Oh, pardon me. This is why I don't drink beer while I'm live. But you got it today. Um, last year, with the fallout of Ring of Honor and a lot of moving pieces kind of up in the air, floating around in the limbo in the wrestling universe, Impact was lucky enough to get them boys back. And I had an inkling, I had a feeling that maybe it wasn't going to be for very long, but man, I was going to cherish every minute that Impact Wrestling had the Briscos in there. It just felt like such a like wow, like 20 years later in the 20th year anniversary of the company, Impact Wrestling gets the Briscos back. What how lucky are wrestling fans to have seen that? You know, it's like no matter what brand you know, whether you watch Impact, Ring of Honor, sadly, they never got to be on AEW television. Don't even get me started on that. Um, it's just so wrong in so many ways. Just so wrong. Um, so like, and even in the indies, you know, when they recently were wrestling for oh, there's an Indian Chicago Warrior Wrestling, whatever it's called, um, or House. What is it? House of Glory out on the East Coast. Um, I've seen it for those shows. Those are fun. Um, damn. I had the absolute pleasure of seeing them boys live just once. And little did I know Trent was at this same show. This goes back 10 years, 10 plus years, 2012, I believe. It was right after they got their TV deal and they started hitting the road again. And a lot of times they would hit Chicago and anywhere in the Midwest and they'd hop over Milwaukee. Well, it had been about somewhere between 8, 9, 10 years, whatever it was. Basically a re-debut because it'd been so long. And they came to Milwaukee. And I went, and the main event was the Briscos versus, oh, damn. I want to say versus Scum. It was Kevin Steen and Jimmy Jacobs, I want to say. I think it was. Um and it was hardcore. It was nuts. And now granted, Jay didn't do this, Mark did this, but still it just showed the craziness of the team. Mark went up in the balcony of the place, which is in it's downtown Milwaukee. It's the Turner Hall Ballroom. And Ring of Honor's been there, it's, I guess, a handful of times over the last decade now. Mark, during the match, towards the end of the match, feeling froggy, you know, gets up in the balcony and dives down on top of, I think it had to have been Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens today, of course. Put him through a table. And I just remember it was such a fun main event and made my night. And I even went to the after party. Now, I didn't meet the Briscoes at the after party, but I met Eddie Edwards and, oh, shoot, I met a couple of guys. I think I saw the Briscoes come in and they had some booth way in the corner. They were hanging out with the booker. So I didn't get to meet them. I'm really wishing I did now. I've just a short period of time that I've seen people telling little stories online or sharing pictures, sharing experiences. The Jay was always a wonderful person, whether it was, company setting or just private hanging out, picture, autograph, whatever. Always. Um, so I don't have too much else to share besides that, just other than this is absolutely going to devastate the world of tag team wrestling because we have lost one half of the greatest modern day tag teams in the last, well, we'll just say 20 years. That's about, give or take a little. That's as long as the Briscoes have been around. And you're going to see tributes all week. There was already tributes from people that never had the chance to wrestle with them. Like the Usos. Trips even sent out a tribute. Shawn Michaels. It's it's you don't have to be in the same company to know. That the Briscoes, Jay and Mark, are tag team wrestling from here to kingdom come. They will always be known as one of the greatest, you could say, modern day or of all time. Given how many times they were tag team champions, in their company, Ring of Honor, or wherever else. So, yeah. So by all means, as I wrap this up, if you're watching, the replay of this, please put something about Jay in the comments. Were you lucky enough to meet him? Were you lucky enough to hang with him? Did you have a favorite match of him and Marks, or him on his solo run as a world champ? Put it into the put it in the comments. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for me. I'm going to go watch. I prided myself in watching several of the last Briscoe matches, and sadly, I missed this last one, and I'm kicking myself now. It was Final Battle of December of last year, where Briscoes took the Ring of Honor tag team titles back from FTR. I think. Was it? I believe that's how it went. Bell's boy says, just like the Road Warriors, we'll never see another team like the Briscos ever again. Yeah, probably not in my generation. It's I mean, wrestling's evolved a lot, but man, some good tag team wrestling, and that's where it's at. Not everyone's a fan of tag team wrestling, but man, if you love Jay and you loved Mark, I know you loved yourself some tag team wrestling. So here's the Jay Briscoe. We're gonna end this here, and I'll see you guys down the road. Hopefully tomorrow night we'll do some AEW. I'd like to assume that good old TK is gonna have a nice tribute on the show. So yeah, we'll just continue the tributes tomorrow night on talking about AEW. But yeah, we'll catch up on some other stuff. There was some other stuff I wanted to talk about, but now's not the time. Now is not the time or the place to do it. We'll catch up on some other stuff tomorrow. We'll let this breathe for a while. So much love, everyone. Excuse me. Wow. Much love, everyone. You take care. Hug your loved ones. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Later.